Hello everyone. This lecture is Module 4 Research Skills for the course GSP 1202-2202 Use of Library Study Skills and ICT. It's coming to you from the School of General and Entrepreneurship Studies of Bayero University, Kano. So, what is research? The word research is made up of if you like, two morphemes. One is re and the other is search. Re means or signifies again, to do again, and search signifies to find, to discover. So therefore we can conclude that research is essentially searching again. The idea behind research implies that a search has been done earlier on, and then there's a need to do that search again using different techniques, methods, theories, and procedures, if you like. So as a way of definition, I would say that research is a scientific and carefully planned investigation into an identified problem within a given field of study or endeavor. So there could be research in medicine, in sociology, in radiography, in linguistics, in political science, and every field of study you can think of. It is also scientific. I will get to talk about the science in research later on. Universities are actually research institutions, not just degree awarding institutions. Students are researchers per se alongside their lecturers, because at the end of a 4-year course or 5-year course, as the case might be, students are expected to submit what is popularly known as project. Now that project is actually a product of research or a report of the research carried out by the student. So research has basic components which we're going to discuss here. First of all, research must be scientific. By scientific, we mean it has to be verifiable, it has to be objective, meaning that the processes, the techniques, the methods must be documented such that another researcher interested in the same field can actually follow those processes and arrive at the same result. Or claims made in research should be verifiable. There should be links that connect the dots so that other researchers can actually go and verify such claims that a particular research is putting forward. Now, a particular research must revolve around an identified problem within a given field of study. Let me give a very typical example, in medicine, the issue of the COVID-19. Now, the virus actually created a problem in medicine. So researchers have been working around the globe searching for the vaccine, and they have come up with several vaccines for COVID-19. In every field of study, a problem must be identified before the project or research can be embarked upon. Identifying research problems also stems from having a knowledge of what has been done before, like researchers in that field, what have they done before? And when you review such researches, they are actually called literature review. You consider, you look, you scrutinize, you peruse the researches that exist before yours. At the beginning of the lecture, we said research is actually to do again, to search again. So you have to consider what has been done before. And when you do that, it is actually called literature review. And there's a particular way of writing it depending on the faculty or department or a distinct field of study. Now, after a research is done, it has to be written and presented in a particular way. Usually in English language, it is written, it is typed, it is bound, and it is to be submitted in a prescribed format to the department that each student is a student therein. Okay, the aim and objective of every research must be carefully thought out and written. It is important so that there will be focus, so that the aim and the objective will not be lost in the process of research. And again, the evidence that a researcher has actually looked at what has been done before must be carefully acknowledged within the writing. That's why there is the in-text citation and there is the end reference or bibliography in the project or research report writing. And when this evidence is not properly acknowledged, the researcher is actually committing a crime which is known as plagiarism. We'll come to that later. So the point is this: for every literature or existing research which a current researcher has looked at or drawn definitions or theories from, the current researcher is expected to acknowledge that this information is not from him or her, but from a previous researcher. And that is done by writing the name or the book or the journal where such information is gotten from. That process of properly acknowledging what has been done before is called citation and referencing. Citation is actually done within the body of the work, which is called in-text citation. It appears within the paragraphs and within the chapters. But at the tail end of the research writing, there is a section which is called reference or bibliography. Bibliography simply is a large collection of materials or sources which are related to the research, but reference is actually the precise sources which have been consulted in the research. So let's talk about plagiarism. This is presenting someone else's work finding as yours. When you get a definition from somewhere, when you get a concept or a theory from someone, and you do not see where that thing is gotten from or who the author is, and you simply write it and present it as if it is yours, then that is plagiarism. And this is caused by a failure to properly say that you got this definition from Robert Hooke or Einstein or Musa or Bello or whoever it is that you are getting an information from. So again, copying and presenting entire parts of someone else's project is also plagiarism. Every student is expected, every researcher is expected to do his or her own original research. And then plagiarism is actually punishable in Nigeria and the world over, and it is a mark of laziness and poor research ethics. So to avoid being a plagiarist, it is important to properly reference and cite the sources you have used in your assignment, in your work, in your seminar, in your group work. You have to cite the sources you have used. So as we've noted earlier on, referencing is the way out of plagiarism, and it's a good mark of research. It's a mark of good research. Reference is acknowledging the source of an information and finding another or earlier research or researcher. It is a pointer that you have reviewed what has been done. It is also a method of attributing authorial rights rightly or correctly. And academic writing relies on more than just the ideas and experience of one author. It also uses the ideas and research of other sources, books, journals, articles, websites, and others. So to give your work a validity, you need to show that you have reviewed several other works which are either at variance with yours or which are in sync with yours. That is why you need multiple sources for your research. These other sources may also be used to support the ideas or otherwise by discussing them, by analyzing them, or critiquing them, and so on and so forth. So referencing is used to tell the reader where ideas from other sources have been used in an assignment. So since the reference appears at the end of the work, your readers will be able to identify or locate the sources you have actually used in your work. So it is given that there are many reasons why it is important to reference sources correctly. One, it shows the reader that you can find and use sources to create a solid argument. So it gives the researcher the credibility, and it's a skill. Again, it properly credits the originators of ideas, theories, and research findings. And then it shows the reader how your argument relates to the big picture. Now, failure to properly acknowledge sources is called plagiarism, and it can carry significant academic penalties. Fortunately, however, plagiarism is easy to avoid by following a few basic principles, which we will see shortly. So basically, there are two elements used in referencing. One, a citation in the text of the assignment, also known as an in-text citation. We have mentioned this earlier. And an entry in the reference list at the end of the assignment or research writing. So the citation contains only enough information for the reader to find the source in the end reference list. Now, usually this is just the name of the source's author and the year, or the source paged, or the year it was published, so on and so forth. So the point is that the in-text citation is a pointer to the reference list. It directs you to a more detailed information about the source, and that source is the details of that source is given in the reference list. So let us assume that when testing the usability of a website, it is necessary to gather demographic information about the users. Open bracket Musa, 2006, close bracket, full stop. Let's assume this paragraph is found in a research writing. This means that Musa 2006 tells the reader that the information has come from his source, who is known as Musa. And the Musa published his writing or research in 2006. So this Musa 2006 is a signpost, is a pointer to the reader to go to the reference list to get the details of Musa 2006, and such details in the reference list will have the title of the book or journal or form or article or film or whatever it is that Musa has written about website and all that. So the reference list is a list of all the sources used and cited. So Musa 2006 above is an example of citation. Now, in the reference list, the references or the sources are arranged alphabetically according to the author's surname, and each entry in the reference list contains detailed information about one source. This usually includes the author's name, the year of publication, the title of the source, the source's location details, e.g. publishers' names, and URL. For example, now this is an example of the end reference. So we can see our Musa J 2006. The title of the book is Web Usability. It's a user-centered design approach by Pearson Addison Wesley. So this is a reference list with 4 entries. Now, if they wanted, a reader could use this information to find these sources in a library or online, and so on and so forth. So these are a few questions to evaluate what we have learned, and we will discuss these questions during the interactive sessions, and you can send in your questions through the chats created and the forum for the course. You can send your responses and questions there. So this is the end of this presentation on research and plagiarism. Thank you for listening.